Welcome everyone to UI5Con 2024. My name is Janina, and this afternoon I am your moderator here in the Audimax. Also a warm welcome to our people dialed in because we are streaming live. You have the comment section for exchange, for questions. I can bring them to stage at the end of the session while we're doing our Q&A. And you are here for adding AI to SAP Fiori Elements apps at both design time and runtime. And here with me on stage already is Katrin Polloczek and Klaus Keller. Klaus is specialized in crafting innovative UI frameworks and tools and currently integrating AI technologies into our UI stack. And Katrin is an area product owner for SAP Fiori Elements V4, and she also loves working with customers on their UX journey in her previous role. So give a round of applause for Katrin and Klaus.
Thank you. Okay. Working. Thanks for appearing that late afternoon on UI5Con, and thank you for joining our session about SAP Fiori Elements and AI. As mentioned, I'm Klaus Keller. I'm one of the lead architects in SAP UX engineering. With me is Katrin Polloczek. She's an area product owner in the same organization, and we try to keep you awake at that late hour. We have a bunch of demos, and I hope you will enjoy it. Today's session, we divided into 4 parts. First part is a little bit of motivation about AI, why we do it, why you should probably be interested in AI technologies. Second part, I'm going to be a developer in a role of a developer and create a Fiori Elements application from business requirements document. The third part, Katrin is being a business user, an end user, using Fiori Elements, My Home, and SAP Joule, our digital assistant, powered by AI, and show you what's possible there. And last but not least, in our fourth part, we are going to show you or share with you how you can try these things out. Some of this you can already try right away. For others, you need to register in a beta phase, in a beta program. Without further ado, let's start with, oh magic, AI. With the first part, why AI matters. There is a McKinsey study, and surprise, surprise, the usage of AI is growing. To be a little bit more precise, they asked organizations within companies about usage of AI, and last year 55% mentioned they use AI tools or AI features for their daily business. This year it's already 65%. Similar for individuals, so if you ask individual user whether they use AI already in their daily business, last year it was 22%, and it's up this year to 39, almost 40% that people are using AI in their daily life. What does that mean for us? Or what does that also mean for the expectations for work? We are expected to do things that we've used to do now faster, more productive. Repetitive tasks should be automated, perhaps by AI, and also new applications should be easy to use. You could even think you just enter what you need to do or what you want to do, and the app figures out how to do that. So these were the triggers for us in Fiori Elements to provide such functionality. On the one side for developers, on the other side for the business user that uses the application itself. We are starting right away with a demo that I give you. I have to say about a little bit a disclaimer. Perhaps you're used to that. Some of the things we show are lab previews, so don't make any business decisions based on that. They might change, they might come or not. So that is what we have to say. But the first demo I'm going to show is available for you right away. You need a SAP build code license, and you can get started with the same things that I'm going to show now. Let's switch. Here I'm in Business Application Studio with this SAP build code license, and I have a business requirements document. the first thing I'm going to do is to start the generation, because it's going to take a couple of minutes, but that is nothing to be embarrassed about, because if you would do that manually, I guess it would be more than an hour. I start here the Joule, Joule chat assistant, and I'm going to start it again and paste here this complete document into it and click on start. It starts thinking and hopefully generating. Yes, that's good. That will take about 4 minutes. And meanwhile, I would like to talk a little bit about the business requirement document, this concrete instance, but also about the template that we are using. If you think we are coming up with this description just for the AI to be able to easily generate, that's the wrong assumption. It was actually the other way around. We reached out to consultants and also to partners and asked them, what kind of document are you using before you start coding the first line of code? So they gave us anonymized information about real requirements or business documents. We were, of course, interested in the granularity, how fine-grained you define these requirements, and and the format. So it could be in Markdown, it could be in Word, sometimes it's in Excel, but whatever you can copy and paste, we can try to handle. And this concrete requirement document is describing a CRM system, so a customer relationship management system. We describe here what the entity customer has. It has attributes like a name, ID, a location, contact or locations. That's a 0 to n relationship. Contact information, it can have a status, and it have, of course, important contracts. So 0 to n contracts. Furthermore, some more words about the identification number, about the locations that it can have. Here a little bit more about the contracts, and also a little bit more fine-grained definition on one contract. At the end, we have in this business requirement document an acceptance criteria. So we have 2 scenarios that we consider to be fulfilled by the application. The first one is just to list, filter, search for customers. And the second one, of course, you also want to be able to dive into one customer and see the details. I did already a good job, 7 of 8, so I have probably a couple of more seconds to kill, but I'm pretty sure it will be done in a couple of seconds, and we can have a look at the results. Yes. Once the machine is done generating the application, I want to increase kind of the tension and first show the files that it generated. So if I go here to show results, I can see it generated a CAP application with all the necessary things like the database layer. If I check the schema, the data definition, I can see here the main entities. It's a customer. The customer has 0 to n relation to locations. Here's the location. And 0 to n to contracts. If you are as creative as I and would need to come up with mock data for this application, you would probably end up with customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, and contract 1, contract 2, contract 3. Large language models can do better. They came up with very nice mock data, and it's way more pleasant to work with such an application that has closer to real-world data in it. That was also generated. On the service level, we have the services defined for the entities to access, and of course the application, and we spent most of the time into getting that right to create the relevant annotations that are read by the SAP Fiori Elements framework to have a nice application. Okay, tension enough. I try to launch this application now and see how it looks. And this is the result. I think it's pretty impressive. It is a full-blown SAP Fiori Elements application. It is already filled with customer data. I can drill into customers. It has the two entities, locations already filled. It has also contracts with status. I can also drill into a contact. One contract has a document. I can even go further and have a look at one of these document. So I think that's pretty impressive and saves a lot of time. So if I would do that, I would at least 1 or multiple hours to get to that state. And I think it's a pretty good kickstart to start your project. Let's go back into the development environment. And I want to show you one more thing. This is a staging area, so the files in here are not really in my workspace. It's a temporary location, but and I can also, as you have seen, check the files. If I'm happy with it, I just can accept this, and I agree that it will be overwriting existing files in my workspace. I'm going to close this, move that a bit, and here you can see already the storyboard within the bus instance, and of course here I have now everything to get started. And it's no prototype application. It uses the real tools, like for CAP project you might know CDS init. It is exactly as you would do it if you start your productive project and application. This is available as of now. You can try it out. We share the link at the end. Of course, we didn't stop there. We also want to have evolution, natural evolution, do other things and check what can be done with this great technology using AI for app generation. So what I would like to show next is kind of the next level that we are currently working on. First thing you see, we want to also make that whole feature available in Visual Studio Code. We went a little bit away from this chat-like interface because for app generation, the important thing is that you get your requirement in and generate it. And what we thought as a next step is you could also create an application from just a whiteboard sketch. I'm also start the generation. It's going to take a while. But while it's generating, I can show the sketch. Yep, over here. So you can see here that is just scripted on a whiteboard. Could be even people that have no clue of any UI or any Fiori. It's just written down what the requirements are for the application. So we are about to generate a Fiori app, which should manage travels. So it should be able to display a list of travels. A travel can have bookings, and it should also be able to display the bookings. Then we sketched a little bit of these entities, the travel and the bookings, a relation to it, some attribute names or field names for this entity. And then that's actually it. That was taken a picture, uploaded it to the system, and as you can see here, it also generates the application with these 8 steps internally. 7 of 8, that means it's currently installing the node modules. I can also look a little bit under the hood of what it does. The last step was generating mock data that are prompts, so you can actually read exactly what we are doing if you are interested in that. And let's give it a couple of seconds to come up. Similar as before, we kept this kind of staging area where we can see the application before we add it to our workspace. Same here. It is a database definition layer in CDS, trips and bookings. Oh, this time we decided to call it not travels but trips. That's also fine. I can also again preview this application. Let's have a look. Application is here. Already some mock data generated. Of course, search and filtering is working as expected. As the sketch, kind of the source is not as big as what we had in the previous document, it is of course not having that much features, but I think it's a pretty close call to what we have in the sketch, and a very good basis to start. And if you don't like it, you just sketch something else, couple of minutes, and you get a new application. Talking about using applications and Fiori elements, I would like to hand over to Katrin in the role of a business user. Thank you.
The bar is high now that you've seen what you can do developing apps with the SAP Fiori tools AI. However, we also have news for you on the SAP Fiori user experience part, and how AI can help the users being more productive by accessing data, filtering data, and sharing data much more quickly and more efficient. And that is what we're going to focus on today. Since we are at a developers conference, we talk about what you can achieve with SAP Fiori applications built with SAP Fiori elements. Those of you who do create Fiori apps, you might know that SAP Fiori elements can scale your development efforts for Fiori apps. However, if you don't know yet, SAP Fiori elements is SAP's template-based approach for app creation. And that is also what we use internally, because it gives you all the enterprise readiness that we need to build into our applications, but also the consistent look and feel across all the applications that are built with the framework. And that helps also our customers and partners that build SAP Fiori apps, because then the dedicated apps that are needed in the customer situation will then be consistent to the look and feel also to what SAP ships. Another advantage, and that is what you see later on today, like in a second, is key features that are built into the framework then can be utilized across the app portfolio that are built with the framework. And that is where we want to get you hungry about when we look at the tasks, or at the task I'm performing in a bit. The thing is, like a conference like this, the regular exchange with customers that we are having, we always, and partners, you always get great insights into how you see we can even improve further, how we can streamline, for example, the access to business data for end users. And end users means like all users, like you as SAP app developers, we as SAP employees, and then the end users we are working for. And then we've seen what Joule can do for us, and in the application part of the house, it is natural language that we can use also to help the business users to get more efficiently the data that's needed, and without little training. So let's move to the system. Hope it's still there. Oops, la. Hope it's still there. And that is my home. And you know that my home is...
You want to refresh just for the session? I don't know how long it is open.
It's at 50 minutes maybe, so like let's do that. Good point. And I need to not use touch with the mouse to navigate. As all our new innovation, we put on access through our My Home that you hopefully are all familiar with. And let's use the shoes of a new user. Like I'm a business user managing the travels of my team or organization. And I got an inquiry of one of my colleagues. As I said, I'm new to the organization, but I'm also new to the system. I know My Home has everything I need. It has the to-dos. It has the apps. And it has the insights. But my best friend is Joule, because then here I can use whatever I'm used to. And I got an inquiry from one of my colleagues asking why his trouble is rejected, and that I want to ask through Joule. That is our AI-based co-pilot companion, my helper. So like, I'm using just as I would ask, show me all the trouble that are rejected. So maybe I say rejected troubles, but it doesn't really matter how I phrase it, because there I know I get to the point, I got the inquiry, my trouble is rejected, what is the reason? And now I'm asking the Joule. Now what it does, it really goes through everything I'm having access to as, like me, authorized user, in the SAP Fiori Launchpad with all the apps that are there, with all the information that is there, and provides me with the answer in a nice way. I just love my touch screen. Everything that I need to know, and I know that this is the colleague that asked for the upcoming travel. So the upcoming travel that I see is here, but I also assume that more people are coming my way and asking for why the travel is rejected. So I better get that also as a card to my home before I move further. But I could also, and you see that, act on what I have here, or I can do it like from the card, but I better understand why the travel gets rejected. So here I'm having all the overview, and remember I'm new to the processes, so as I have it open still on Joule, I just use the way how to ask the system what is the detail, because here I just have the overview. What is the detail of the travel that is rejected? So show me all bookings of travel, and that was the 4138. That is what we took note of. And now Joule also helps me getting the context out of the app. Information that is not seen here, but it's also in subsequent pages. Everything is being gathered to then show me the details. And usually it's the bookings that are, if the price is too high, that is a trigger to reject things. But it is travel season. And then I can just accept it right here. So I can even perform actions, accept this travel. So performing the actions, and then let's see how the object page looks like. What was rejected up until now, it is now accepted. So that is all good. And if that is a little too funky for somebody that's new and like, does it really do the things that I envisioned, I want to show you something else that is maybe closer on the transition between the classic environment that you know, or also the users know, with like the filter bar that we have on the top here, but we have also an easy filter using AI. Remember the person that I just checked the trip for, or the travel number? Nobody paid attention? Well, then I asked. 4138, very good. So I'm just using my natural language here in the easy filter so that the system can do the work for me. Show me the bookings for the colleague that's called Steinhauer, and how the system is supposed to come up with the results. And that's the beauty of a lab preview. Like sometimes we are still in the process of properly do all of it, and the one that's coming up is the one accepted. I can check it once again, but I would like to share the good news also with my colleague. There is a bit too much information, especially in the subsequent pages, but I have another, and the stars should by now like have shown you that this is whenever we have something AI helps us also showing you where we are having the features, what features are AI related. The summarize button helps me to get a generated summary of the trip, and the key information is also that I have it is booked and it is now accepted, and I want to share that with a colleague so that he gets the good news. And I can just put that in a new message, share it with him, nicely formatted, everything is good, and I can send it off. So those are the three key features on the consumer, business user, end user side that we wanted to share with you today. besides the ones that are also relevant for you in creating the SAP Fiori apps. Now this can be added to the SAP Fiori apps, or used in the SAP Fiori apps when you build them with SAP Fiori elements, and based on the data v4. The question is like, what of it you can already try? Klaus already mentioned, out of the business requirement, generating an app is already available to you. But what we'll soon have in a better feature program are the easy filter and the summarization option. And if you want to sign up, it started like earlier this week that you can actually register for this beta program, and we would really hear what you think about what we added here. So sign up for it. It's the link or the QR code that you can check.
So signing up with it brings you, if you have Fiori Elements applications running in SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, it brings you the summarize button, and it will bring you the natural language filter in your applications automatically. So
that is automatically.
Really try it out.
That is exactly what I wanted to say. It's the V4 or data V4. That is the basis for it. What you need to do, what you need to have SAP Fiori Elements based on data V4. So that is for the end user parts. Easy filter, smart summarization. And as long as I see the camera is up, I'm hesitant to move forward. For the ones of you who want to try out the first part based on the business requirement document, having an app generated, and this way also having a quick turnover of like different visualization, then that is something that you can do by going to SAP Build Code. That is also part of the SAP Cloud, SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud Edition. It's already available, so you can use that.
Today I learned that's also part of the trial version. If you have this trial access to BTP, it's actually also included there.
Nice.
You can also try it out, the SAP Build Code. With a limited set of tokens, so you won't be able to use that forever, but for trying it out, it should work.
And that pretty much like concludes what we have prepared. And we prepared also some extra time for you to ask the question that you might have, because that's always important to us. Like, it's the exchange we talked about, so like the feedback you're having for us, but also the comments or other questions around the Fiori tools, Fiori Elements part that you have for your project. Like, keep them coming. Dare to ask your questions.
Thank you. So, time for questions. We have one online. I'm going to read it out. Andreas
there's
asked,
one over there.
Oh. Yeah, let's throw the ball. Until then, I'm going to read out. Which languages does AI support? English only, and whether it can be used only in SAP Business Application, when and which language will be added?
The language, I guess it's the summarize, perhaps?
We have, like, right there, set of questions. For example, the summarize part. Like, whatever the logon language you have is a default. But the summarize, for example, would have options for the languages. It's not the entire language portfolio as we have it right now in the SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud, but it's on a better level.
So yeah, for the summarization feature, you can select the target language. We have some selected languages right now. Other than that, it's the login language that you are currently using. So it should be summarized in whatever language you are.
Andreas, let me know in the comments if that answers your question. We have one in the room. Yes.
Yes, hi. Thanks for the demo. Just a question to clarify the runtime example where we had the question asking for to display the rejected travel requests. And maybe I misunderstood, but I thought it also returned the accepted requests in the same list. Did I misunderstand
I
that?
checked it twice. Like the first time I selected and show me all rejected troubles. This is when the card came up in my little helper on the side, like the Joule, and that I put on my home and navigated into the list report. This is when only all the troubles were filtered for rejected. But I didn't say what I did. When I was in the list and before I started the easy filter, I clicked away the rejected filter, because what it does is, also with the easy filter now, it puts the information I enter in natural data as filter criteria into this report. But then I clicked away the rejected and hit go, and then the entire list with all the troubles came up before I then asked for the show me the troubles for my colleague that's called with the last name Steinhauer.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense.
The design of the solution will be a little bit different than what we show here. We will be able to choose between the classic filter, what you know, kind of the filter fields, and this new one. But even if you have the natural language input, we will kind of indicate which filters are applied, so that it's easy to understand what the AI interpreted from the natural language input.
Thank you.
We can also go, there was one in the back, a question, Naya.
I think just to be sure, I think the first question that they asked was not regards to the summary, but was regarding to the Joule itself in the bus. Probably if you could use it in multiple languages. I think that was probably the question. But yeah, either way, I have my own questions. When would
just wondered, are you Andreas?
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. The Joule in Visual Studio Code, that looks really great. I don't know if you have a timeline on when that would appear.
When Joule would be available.
In Visual Studio
in
Code.
Visual Studio Code, so the first part of the session.
I prefer not to. We are close, but I mean, we could not really.
Yeah, it's not like you have a timeline on it already. No.
No.
Not yet. All right.
But you've seen a pattern also, right? Like we had a beta now for the other topics for the end users. We had there was a beta also for the SAP Joule availability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say I used it in the beginning of the year, Joule in Bus, and seeing it now, it's already a lot more stable. It looks a whole lot better. I was also wondering if you can, let's say, for example, that a COP application has been generated. I wonder if you can ask it extra stuff to change what has been generated.
We are looking into it. Yes, there is already also internal prototype that we look into regeneration, only parts of it, not the whole thing. Also to save
yeah, that was
time,
one of the issues that I had in the
beginning
beginning of the year, that it's started to regenerate the entire project instead of just smaller things.
Yeah, we have already a logic to only adjust parts of it or regenerate parts of the whole thing, which speeds it up and is actually, I think, a natural thing, iteration, that you want to refine certain things rather than starting from that what is generated and then required to change a lot. So, yep, that is something we are looking into it currently as well.
Do you need a service for it on the BTP to make it to work on public cloud?
In Visual Studio Code, you need something.
No, with regards to the second part of the presentation, seeing Joule and the summary and stuff on public cloud system, do you need a service on BTP so you can have Joule on the public cloud, or is it by default in
for the
public
beta?
clouds?
There might be a step that is manually done by the customer, but later on, once it's out of beta, it will be anyway available for every list report that has this object page, the summary, and the filter will be there. For the beta, there might be, but I think it's just the checkbox somewhere. It comes with the documentation. There's a small step, not a lot of maintenance effort or administrative effort.
Thanks.
Okay, hello, thank you for the presentation, it's pretty interesting. I have a question with regard the context. So at the beginning, we've used Joule to generate the project. It was pretty well. And also when we wanted to make an edit to the logic, it also was very well aware of the question that's, okay, it's with regard this part of the logic, and it answered well. However, when it came to the UI, the application layer, UI layer, about the annotations, in new annotations, but then it was not aware of what was the content of the annotations.cds. So whenever we wanted to make a change, it was just hallucinating basically. So is this something that you're working on or you've worked on?
Yes, Fiori Elements itself has will get a so-called app context that is read by Joule. So there are standard fields in this app context, like the data services or user settings, kind of the date format and stuff like this is generally available. But a developer of a Fiori Elements application can also add kind of custom information to this app context. Right now not, it's in the making, also lab preview please, but that's how it's supposed to work. So the app developer can provide more context, custom context that he likes. And on the other side in Joule, and I think there is some general information about Joule. We somehow can perhaps share the link also. You can have capabilities, and in these capabilities you can read the app context and then react on it. So that are the two parts that need to work together. Some come by default by SAP, and some can be kind of custom for your application. You have your own capability that reads the app context and can make sense of it, can interpret or answer questions.
If you're interested in Joule, and like the first question, like from the previous speaker, was also like how this Joule will be available in the SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud Edition. This is a place to go. It's in our community. Joule, like it's one of the key, like one of the topics. You cannot miss it. And this is where we have like a very holistic summary of everything that you need to know, like the better, like now it's available, and then also how it's integrated.
Okay, thank you.
Was it clear, or with the context and Joule and how it?
Yeah, it was clear. Just one question. When you say the context, so does that mean that we would have to give the Fiori Elements context to the Joule so it can respond, or
there is
would
a
it
standard.
automatically?
There is a standard context from every application. Like I said, it will contain the OData service. So Joule knows already the running application, some things of it, but there might be cases for your specific application that you wanted to kind of tell Joule in addition to what is already there. So you can add custom context, and on the other side in Joule you can also create custom capabilities that read this context. So there is a certain freedom, and there is a certain standard set of context that is already there, built in by SAP.
Okay, last thing. So if I understood correctly, there will not be a special section for the front end, because currently, at least the state where I left it, we had Joule for the logic. So when you go, for example, to the logic section, you would get automatically Joule. However, if you switch to the UI tab, you would not get Joule. So should we expect Joule to be something that we see for the front end, or will it have to be with a context thing that you've mentioned previously?
The Joule should be visible for all applications. So you would be able to open Joule for any application, and Joule should be aware of what application is running.
Yeah, because okay, is that an update? Because the last time I've used it, it was around January.
It's
February?
The lab. So it's perhaps it might not be out.
Okay, so it's not out yet.
But that is what we are currently envision and working on and trying out, and also showed here or used here to show the demo. Yeah.
Okay, that answers my question. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We said keep them coming, and it's really good that you
throw the cube.
Live up to that. And if there are more like SAP Fiori Elements,
don't kill anyone.
SAP Fiori Elements questions, like we have also more experts in the room, so we have all covered if you don't hit yourself too hard.
Okay, can you train Joule with your own data? So maybe for a custom application that being built, UFI application, something like that. Is it possible? Like for instance, you can tune GPT-4 with your own data. Is it still possible with Joule?
Any expert in Joule? Looking in the first row.
We are
No?
consumers of Joule in our Fiori tools and Fiori Elements realm. So we don't know all the details. That's why we are very happy that we have this
Yep.
page. But
Yeah.
we have, wait a second, we have a volunteer for additional
We have a volunteer,
comments.
yes. So let me try that one. So can you train it not directly? So Joule works in a way, as Klaus tried to explain, that you define capabilities, and these capabilities know how to react to your inputs. He also mentions the context. So if you are, for example, on a sales order application, and if it is a Fiori Elements application, then there will be some additional context that your capabilities or the existing capabilities will have access to. So it has actually access to what you're currently running. And also the Joule capability will call your backend system if it needs more information. So it will be on your data. It's not really like a training of a model. It's more like you have access to your live data there. Like you as a human being would have, your Joule capability has as well.
Okay.
Did it help?
Yeah, quite.
I think in general, machine learning and training for application input was there even before the large language models and all. But for Joule itself, I don't think there is a change. Any other questions?
Except for, when can we leave? Then we'll just conclude. Or Janina, do you have anything else that you want to ask?
Looks good. I haven't checked anything in the comment section, so I think we are also quite good in time. Maybe we can draw attention to what can people do right now. So you already shared the community page. Maybe we can also draw once again the attention to the influence. So until when can people register for the next project? Yeah, so here's the campaign code. Don't miss out on that. And anyway, I would like to ask you to put out your phone. So I have mine right here. I usually don't do that, but maybe you can once pull out your phone. You can scan, of course, the influence page as well, but you can also, I'll just give you a few seconds, scan the app and rate the session, so we don't miss out on that.
Should I switch to the
4,
feedback?
3, 2, 1. Looks good. Yes. Show me the next slide.
I think that one is.
Here you go. Thank you, Katrin. Thank you, Klaus, for the talk. Give a round of applause.